As soon as that incision was made, the cut would be lathered with paste to instantly stop the blood. They would then thrust in a long wooden stake that was the width of a man's arm, which was sharply tapered on one end. They then begin to hit the wooden stake with the mallet, pushing it further and further in.
Welcome back, V2N Squad. It's V2N Issa, and today we back with another one. We're going to be reacting to the worst punishments in human history. I know this one's going to be good. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow the squad. Let's get to it.
Let's start with the bad and slowly work our way towards the stuff of nightmares. Number 10, the Rat Dungeon. If you were alive in London, England during the...
Okay. Rat Dungeon is actually a crazy name. Like, I hate rats with a passion. Now, mind you, if they told me, hey, you gotta go to the Rat Dungeon, I'd be like, look, I'm sorry. Whatever I did, I apologize. If I stole something, I'm giving it back, because I'm not going to no place called the Rat Dungeon now. That's a lot. That's wild, you know? That's actually crazy.
Medieval period, you would have definitely heard about the Rat Dungeon, since this punishment struck paralyzing fear into the hearts of even the most hardened criminals. This was a cell that was located at the bottom of the London Tower, where prisoners were shackled and chained in complete darkness.
Oh no.
But here's the thing, the dungeon was connected to the near...
Look, the medieval times was a crazy time, because people, like, they literally didn't have no, like, I felt like they had no empathy for people back then, because they would just kill you in the middle of the street. Nobody cares. They gonna lock you up in a dungeon in the dark. No AC, no hygiene. You can't take no shower. Like, I would hate to be a criminal during that time. And then now they're talking about they lock you up in a dungeon where rats gonna be in there.
Nearby river and just below the river's waterline, so that when the water levels rose, all the rats that lived along the riverbed would be pushed out of their shelters and forced to swim downstream. This would of course lead the hungry and angry rats towards the entrance of the dungeon, where they would then come face to face with the prisoner. But to the unlucky prisoner, he never actually saw anything, and all he would hear were the soft scurries of the rats' feet entering the dungeon.
Imagine, you know, you in the dark, you in the dungeon, you're already suffering, and then the next thing you hear is that you can't see nothing, but you hearing, like, I would shit my pants. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be like, oh my God, what is that noise? And you like, and now you don't even know. It's like a whole bunch of rats that are running away from water, and they all in that room, and you in the dark, you chained up, you can't do nothing. You just hearing all around you.
And in a matter of minutes, these soft noises were in the hundreds and all around him. These angry and aggressive rats would then begin to take small bites from the prisoner, who had no way of defending himself. Now, he might be able to shake the rats off for a few hours, but eventually the prisoner would pass out from pure exhaustion. And while he slept, like, the rat...
Imagine, like, you fighting off hundreds of rats. Of course you're gonna get tired. And I bet you they not gonna stop eating you while you sleeping. They gonna keep eating at you. So you gonna sleep, you wake up, after you pass out, you wake up, you missing a body part. They gonna take your finger, your leg, your toe, they taking body parts. Like, that's not even a punishment. That's torture at this point.
Rats would continue to take bites from his flesh.
And
eventually, when he would wake up, he would discover hundreds of bites throughout his entire body. But it didn't stop there. The prisoner was left here for days or weeks on end, depending on his crime. But towards the end of the medieval period, this form of punishment just got more and more deranged, eventually becoming a form of execution, where prisoners would just be thrown in the dungeon and forgotten about.
Look, listen. Like, how did people even, like, think about being criminals during that time, knowing that the way you're gonna die is you're gonna be put in a dungeon and rats are gonna keep coming in, eating at you every single day until you pass away, because nobody cares. Like, that is like a slow and painful way to go. Like, they really torturing you to you pass away, and like, they don't care. Like, they really didn't care. Like, they actually just throw you in there. It's like, yeah, good riddance. Like, why did he go steal some bread from that lady? And you know, it was probably crowds like that. You probably go, you steal some bread. And it's like, oh, you gotta go. You're not a good member. You just trying to feed yourself. They taking you out. So imagine, like, I'm so glad, like, you know, I'm not living in those times, because, oh my God, yo, that's crazy. Because you didn't even have to do nothing sometimes. They was just Oh, you just looked at me the wrong way. Yeah, you rat dungeon it is for you.
Number 9, the rack. This was yet another
The
punishment
rack?
that took place in the London Tower.
So
The
what's
rack
up-
was a
what's going
torture
on in
device that
London,
was
yo?
used in many places throughout history. This form of
Man.
punishment was originally designed for getting a confession, usually from criminals,
Oh, we gonna
slaves,
torture
or
you?
prisoners of war. The
Till you
device
tell us
looked
what we
like a
need to
large
know?
ladder, but instead of secure steps, they would actually rotate like a rolling pin. You see, when a
Oh.
prisoner was placed on the rack, he would have his feet and wrists tied to a ratchet
So they trying to make him into a rotisserie chicken, but like with a torture method. They're like, oh yeah, we gonna turn your body into you until you tell us the truth. Oh, we gonna stretch your stomach. That's
pulley
crazy.
system, where 2 legal officials would slowly tighten the ropes and locking them in place, placing an
wow.
increasing amount of strain on the prisoner's shoulders, hips, knees, and elbows with every single.
Oh, they trying to make them grow. Yeah. Remember, like I think there was this one video of this person. Like I guess he used to hang upside down every day so he could grow taller. I feel like this would work better, don't you think? No, like nah. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Turn. This was all done to get information, but of course, a lot of the times the truth was not accepted as reality.
Exactly.
And the prisoner would
It don't
then
even
begin to
matter.
say,
It don't even matter if you torture somebody, you asking them a question. So, did you sleep with his wife? Mind you, the man never met the girl in his life, and he said, "I don't even know who you guys are talking about." Like, yeah, literally telling me something I don't even know about. They're like, nah, that's not good enough. They're not gonna believe it because they want you to say, yeah, I slept with her, or yeah, I went and stole that chicken. Yeah, I stole that bread. Even if you wasn't there, you didn't do nothing. They torture you enough to the point where you're gonna tell them anything they want to hear. So now you telling them, yeah, I stole the chicken, I stole the bread, I slept with his wife. In fact, I was at your house last night too. I slept with her too. Because just so they can stop torturing you, you gonna tell them anything they want to hear. And that's why torturing doesn't work. Trying to get the truth from torture does not work. That's not a reliable method because they literally gonna tell you anything you want to hear once it gets to a point.
whatever he believed the officials wanted to hear.
Exactly.
Sometimes it would work and the prisoners would be let go,
Wow.
while other
Not
times
him
they
with
would be
squiggly
tortured
legs.
even more for lying.
Exactly.
When the whole ordeal was over, prisoners were usually released with dislocated joints, but oftentimes they were left completely paralyzed. That was the case in
Wow.
England in 1440.
Wow, imagine you didn't do nothing. They torture you and they paralyze you just so you can tell them what they want to hear. This what I mean, like the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, anything that's in the hundreds was a crazy time. I ain't gonna lie.
47, when a 25-year-old girl named Anne Askew would be tortured on the rack for hours and hours on end
Oh,
and
wow.
left completely paralyzed after all her joints were dislocated. She was then carried on a chair and burned alive at the stake.
Oh
All this
no! Oh no! Oh no! So they tortured her. They tortured her. Paralyzed her whole body. She couldn't even walk. So they carried her on a stretcher to go burn her alive? So the torture wasn't good enough. They had to burn her alive. And all for what? Let's find out. All for what? Let's find out what horrible crime did she commit to deserve this. Let's find out.
because she read and memorized scriptures from the Bible, which she preached in private to a small group of women, which were
my.
the exact women she refused to name and expose during her torture.
Oh, you thought you could read, huh? Don't you know this is the 1400s? You're not allowed to read. What makes you think you can read and actually memorize? Who taught you how to read? Who you reading it to? Oh, you not gonna tell us? Okay, we gonna burn you now. You gotta burn because you read. Why you reading the Bible for? Huh? Who taught you how? You try to teach the Bible to other people too? Oh, you got to go. You a witch. They burned her at the stake because she was reading and teaching other people, like reading to others. Imagine. Nowadays, your parents tell you, you gotta read, you gotta learn, you gotta educate yourself. You know, if you don't learn how to read and you're not educated, you're not gonna be nothing in life. Back in the day, they're like, you better not read. If you read, we burning you at the stake. You better not read. Like, listen, what's reading for you? You're not a man. You can't read. You think you can read? Oh, blasphemy. Don't be reading. We gonna burn you if you read. So it's actually crazy. They didn't want nobody to have no education. And I bet you that's wild. She probably, it was probably her husband that snitched on her. Let's find out.
You see, during this time period, if you followed any religion other than the Catholic Church, you better not say a word to anybody,
she was
including
she was
your
a
own
proselyte?
Husband, which was the person that turned her in. Number 8.
Called it. Because I guess they're in a different religion. So they're in a like the Catholic Church, like a country like ruled by the Catholic Church, and I guess she was probably like practicing Protestant. She was a Protestant in the Catholic like state. So they don't play. Like the church back in the day, I ain't gonna lie to you, they were wild. Like they would actually kill you because you want to be in a different religion. Crazy work. That's actually wild as hell. But your own husband. Imagine you married to somebody and the person you're married to turns you over to the police because you reading. They're like, oh yeah, burn her at the stake. She a witch. Why she thinking she got another god? What? She not trying to practice the religion we practice? Oh yeah, y'all gotta burn her at the stake. That's actually crazy.
Keel hauling. This brutal punishment was carried out at sea on sailors who would steal or be violent towards others and would usually result in death. Keel hauling would start with a sailor having his arms tied with a rope, then looped around the entire circumference of the ship before being tied off to his feet. The sailor would then be thrown overboard while the group of men on board pulled on the rope to
So he's just gotta keep going around the boat while it's moving in the water. Cause they pull in, so they tied their hands, throw the rope in the water, go let it circle all the way around, and then they tie the feet. So while the sailors are pulling it, they just going around in a circle on the boat, like all around the boat. Like that's gotta be torture. You getting waterboarded and you getting hurt like by all that wood.
Slowly drag him around the outside of the ship, including over the keel, which is how this punishment gets its name. But a lot of the times, the sailor wouldn't even have to worry about it, since they were dead before they ever reached it.
Right,
Kinda just depends on how hard the guys on the rope feel like working that day. Not only would the sailors be drowning and getting their backs and necks broken on the keel, they were also getting sliced apart like a cheese grater by all the sharp barnacles on the outside of the ship. But if by some miracle, a sailor actually happens to make it all the way around the ship without dying, one of 3 things will happen. 1, he would be sent for round 2, and for sure be dead by then. 2, be freed and allowed back on the ship.
Oh, wow.
Where he would then slowly die to infections.
Exactly.
Or 3, live the rest of his life single and being made fun of, since he was now fully covered in scars from head to toe.
Oh, wow.
Number 7, crushed by elephants.
Which
now
option
we are
would
getting
you
to the
like
part of the
from those
list
3?
where living is no longer an option.
Would you rather they put you back in for the second round? Die a slow and painful death because of your like injuries and stuff, or survive but like have scars all over your body? That's a tough one. But write it down in the comments. Which one would y'all choose out of those 3? If y'all survived the first round, what would y'all choose as the next thing for them to do to you?
Option. This form of punishment has been used by many countries throughout history, but was most recently used by India in the 19th century.
Yeah,
which is really
knew it
not
was
that
gonna be
long
India
ago if you really
they
think
got
about
elephants
it.
over
Like,
there.
your great grandma could have witnessed one of these.
1900s is crazy
What type
too,
of
right?
crimes would you have to commit to be crushed by an elephant, you might ask? Well, apparently if you failed to pay your taxes, that was good enough. And of course, stealing or being an enemy soldier.
Oh, you too broke? Oh, you can't afford to pay us our tax, buddy? We got something for you, buddy. Come over here. Lay down. Why am I laying down for? Don't worry about it. Just lay down. Face down. Lay down. All right, bring it in. Bring it in, guys. Bring it in. The big ass elephant walking up, start right on you, on your back, like for not paying your taxes. That's actually, man. When I tell you the 1900s, I mean the hundreds, the hundreds. Anytime that starts with the 100 was not a good time. I ain't gonna lie.
soldier was also a great way to become a tortilla. But the most disturbing case in history was when the 4th Mughal Emperor of India ordered an enormous amount of criminals to be crushed to death in a single day.
Oh, wow.
Simply because he was
ain't
bored
shit.
and needed some entertainment.
He
The
ain't
guy who
shit.
forgot to pay his tax.
How the heck you like, oh yeah, I'm bored today. So you know what we finna do? We gotta let them all the criminals. Oh, we got how many criminals in the back? Oh, we got like 10, 20 of them. All right. Bring the elephants, man. I'm bored right now. I need them to entertain me, you know. And your way of entertainment is watching people get killed by getting stomped by elephants. You know what I'm saying? Like heartless. Like I like watching UFC, but like I'm not that crazy. Like I'm not trying to watch nobody get killed. Like no.
Crushed. The man who stole an apple from the local market, crushed.
Apple?
The little orphan who jaywalked across the street, crushed. The
What?
man who murdered his neighbor and added his remains to a large pot of tomato
Okay.
soup, then fed that soup to his family and watched them eat it from the shadows with a creepy smirk on his face. He's alright.
Wait, what? Hold on. First of all, that was very detailed. And like, why the hell they killing the orphan? They just walked across the street. You stole an apple. You can't steal nothing. Like, let me tell you something. In the past, don't steal nothing. If you're hungry, you gotta starve. I'm sorry, you gotta starve. If you dying from hunger, boy, you gotta starve. Because if you don't starve, they're gonna kill you in the worst way possible. And the guy who did whatever he just said, the boiling and feeding to the family, and he's the only one that deserved to get stomped by the elephant, to be honest. So why are they not stomping him? They should get 2 elephants, one in the leg, one like to do the work. But everybody else, they didn't deserve that shit.
Apparently, he makes a damn good soup.
Oh no.
There are a few ways that this public execution goes
Oh, no.
down, but one thing always stays the same. There's always a guy on top of the elephant controlling its every move.
Oh,
And this
wow.
was very intentional, as this was meant to showcase just how amazing the ruling class were. I mean, look at them. They can control an elephant.
Right?
Now
yeah.
be impressed.
Yeah, be
The
impressed
first
or else
method
get
of
stomped.
execution
Make
was
your
the
choice.
one that you better pray for if this was going to be your fate. Here, the criminals would have their arms tied behind their back and their heads placed on a pedestal, where it
Oh,
was then
wow.
crushed like a grape by the elephant's
Yeah,
foot.
I think
Now,
that's
the
the
second
fastest
method is
way
much more
to go,
cruel.
'cause
The criminal
you
would be
gonna die
placed
right
flat
away.
on the floor with their arms tied behind their backs. Then the elephants would be guided to walk over the person's body, and hopefully the criminal would die on the first go.
Right.
But sometimes they just end up crushing a leg or
Or a
an
body.
arm. So the elephant then has
Exactly,
to make
gotta
a
keep walking
U-turn
back
and
and
try
keep
again
killing
and
until
again
you
and
die.
again.
Keep
The
stepping on
final
you.
and worst way is when a highly trained elephant was guided to slowly crush the person limb by limb.
Oh, no.
They would first crush the arms, then the legs, and then poke holes in them with the
Oh,
tusk
what?
until eventually dealing the final blow.
And the king, he's like, oh yeah, this so entertaining. Yeah, guys, let's go. Do the other leg. Do the other leg. You didn't want? Do the other leg. Now stab his stomach. Stab. Like, come on, yo. And then they no wonder why, people don't like kings. Like most of the times when kings leave power is because they get, you feel me? And some of them deserve that shit because you're not going to put your whole citizenry into that type of terror and then expect to enjoy your life. No.
To the head or torso. This is the more theatrical route that rulers like the 4th Mughal love to
Yeah,
take.
he was a piece
and
of
made
shit.
for a truly traumatizing experience for everyone. Except for the 4th Mughal. He loved it. Number 6.
I wonder what
Impalement.
happened to-
Probably one of the grossest and most cruel forms of punishment on the
Wait. Let's go back. I'm gonna just show y'all the picture of what I just saw. Like, what? Let me go back. Cause
Number 6. Impalement.
what? What is this? What is this right here? Like, what is this? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What did they do to deserve that? Oh no. Like, out of all the punishments so far, this is the one that I would hate the most. This is the one that I would never wish upon nobody. Like, all the other ones, like the rat one, I mean, it's terrible, but it don't compare to this, right? The boat one, yeah, you gonna drown. Like, yeah, you gonna drown. You might get carved up. But you know what's safe? Your holes are safe. Right? The elephant one, like if they do like the one like they put your head down and then they just stomp their head in and you pass away like right away. That's not like, I mean, it's bad, but compared to this, like if they ask you which out of all the punishments we've seen so far, which one do you want to go? I'm gonna go with the elephant one, but with the first method of stomping the head, because that one is gonna be the quickest way to go. This one, they put. You see this whole pole, like it's literally coming from the behind all the way to the face, coming out of the face. Like, so imagine the torture that happened, what the person was going through while this was happening. I don't even want to imagine it. Don't imagine it.
Helmet. Probably one of the grossest and most cruel forms of punishment on the list. This has been used by a few countries throughout history, but was most recently used in Egypt in the 17th.
Egypt. Why? Oh my God.
Century, usually against criminals that were highway robbers, grave thieves, or anyone who would try and start a rebellion. This punishment would start by having a criminal lay flat on their stomachs with their arms tied behind their back. They would then be sliced open with a razor to increase the size of their back door. And
so the first thing they do is already like crazy. It's already worse than like most of the other ones we talked about so far. They gonna cut your behind with a razor just so they can make the hole bigger, so they can put what?
And as soon as that incision was made, the cut would be lathered with paste to instantly stop the blood. They would then thrust in a long wooden stake that was the width of a man's arm, which was sharply tapered on one end. They then begin to hit the wooden stake with the mallet, pushing it further and further in. And of course, the stake was greased up beforehand to make this process a lot smoother.
Yo! Not them greasing it up. No diddy though. What? That's crazy. They greased it up too? So they lather it up and then they poke it inside and hit it with a hammer. But like, oh, go in there, go. Bro, that's so torturous. But you know these new OnlyFans models, you know they love that shit. That's crazy. My fault. Them OF models, man, they would love that. That's not torture for them. That's just Wednesday. My fault. I'ma stop. But nah, that's actually wild as hell. I would be so wow.
And once the stake has popped out of the criminal's shoulder, head, or mouth, they were pretty much long gone. He is then planted next to a busy road, like a Halloween decoration, to remind everyone that this is what happens when you break the law.
Oh, wow. Like, listen. I would not want to be in Egypt in the 1700s at all. I don't care. I'm going to be the best law-abiding citizen, but I still wouldn't want to be in Egypt just in case they're trying to, they mistake me for somebody else. In case somebody looked like me and they went out and committed a crime and they looking for them and they find me and now I got to suffer that torture, I wouldn't want to be living in Egypt. I would move. Soon as I'm born, I'm telling my parents move. I must talk. I'm gonna like, hey, parents, we got to move. We can't live here. They do some crazy shit out here.
They will be left there for the entire day and removed the following morning before the body begins to stink.
Wow.
But wait, there's another version of this as well. You see, on some occasions, the criminals would only be impaled just deep enough to keep them in place, but not too deep that it would cause immediate death.
Okay. So now we back again. with another question, guys. Another poll. Out of these two options, which one would you choose? Would you rather, because the first two steps are still gonna be the same. So they still, cut your behind, right? They cut your behind, they lather up the pole, they hit it in you, right? But they just don't go as far in. So you're still gonna die. It's just gonna take way longer for you to die. So out of the two options, option A, where they poke it all the way through your body, you die right away, or option B, where you gotta stick with a pole in your behind until you pass away. Which option are you picking? Write it down in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Pick your options. Which one are y'all picking?
Death. They would do this by having stakes that had a seated position on them to prevent the person from sliding down any further. They would then be placed on a busy road where they would suffer for hours and hours,
Until they
pleading
pass
to
away?
people walking by for help, until eventually succumbing to their wounds.
Wow. But look, we're going to stop it here. So if y'all want to see the rest, the worst ones, go watch the original video so y'all can support Good Enough. I'll put the link down in the description so y'all, you can just go click on it and watch the rest of the video. But this was a good one though. If you like what y'all saw, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one, V2N Squad. We out.